All right, welcome back everybody. We have with us our April Student of the Month, Anita Saakyan. Anita, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Finals are wrapping up, so pretty good about that.
Feeling pretty good about finals. So,
Yeah.
as this is getting filmed, this is your last academic day,
Yep.
really as a Brandon Valley High School student. Just general thoughts and emotions with that.
It's really weird because I feel like really indifferent right now. I feel like in like a week it's gonna hit like, oh my gosh, it's actually over. Because right now it's like the heat of finals and like getting everything done, and there's just so much to get done, especially with tomorrow and like having to go through the last days and stuff. So it's not really like hitting me yet, but I feel like in a few days I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's actually over. This is insane.
Sure, just so busy you can't really think about the
yeah.
emotion of it. I think that's a very common thing. And then you get to Sunday, and you actually walk across the stage and kind of the real emotion
Overwhelmed.
kind of comes out. And then Monday, that next day kind of kicks in like, oh man, what does this look like when you're not coming to school? Those are real emotions, so
Yeah.
that's completely understandable. Looking at that, if you could kind of look back on maybe this year or your K-12 experience, or excuse me, your high school experience, if you could give yourself advice or like one thing you learned from this point, kind of looking back.
Do more.
Okay.
I mean, like one of the things that I could never really do a lot of, like I couldn't do a lot of extracurriculars and stuff like that because of like family scheduling and stuff like that, but I wish I would have pushed harder to do more, because like this year I was able to like be involved in a lot of extracurriculars that before I never really had a chance to be involved in, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to. The experience has been incredible in things like tech and getting more involved in art club and doing more things after school and stuff like that. So my advice would probably be just get more involved, do everything you possibly can, and just kind of branch out as much as I can, because I feel like that would be like amazing if I could have done that like freshman and sophomore year. Yeah.
Sure, that's incredible. What do you think you're most proud of? Looking back on your time, what are you most proud of? Like, hey, I did that right.
Certain months.
Sure.
Like some months are just so overwhelmed with stuff. Like for example, one act where you have to like, you're gone for a few days and you have to focus on doing that and going to Brookings for that. But then also like the end of that month, there's testing for HOSA, and then there's also actual tests like from classes, and then personal life, and being able to successfully manage those really difficult months is just, it's really amazing because I look back and I'm proud of it.
Sure.
There's been some summers where I've been like loading them up with camps and trips and stuff like that, and then I look back and I'm just satisfied with how much I was able to get done and how far I went in those just time frames. And that's kind of just, every once in a while I'm just like, wow, I did that. Like,
Sure.
I'm proud of that.
It's cool, like a life lived. You can look
Yes.
back and say, hey, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe bumps along the way, mistakes along the way, but like, hey, you got through it. And that's absolutely true. And it's such a life skill going forward as well. When you can say like, hey, this was a hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got through this hard thing.
Yeah.
You know what? So maybe that next hard thing is just, I've been through it. I can get through it. Oh, that's pretty cool. So inevitably, when you have those bumps in the roads, those hard things that you did come through on the other end, there's probably people along the way that maybe help support or guide or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So if you could look back at maybe a teacher or a coach, advisor, someone in the kind of your Brandon Valley experience, who would that be?
Well, of course, there's everyone that helps me with like classes and for questions and general life stuff, but the biggest supporter and helper along the way was probably Miss Murdy. I mean, like, I probably go to her office more often than like any teacher at this point. But whenever anything gets difficult or I can't really manage things, like she has a lot more experience with like certain personal problems and stuff like that, in terms of like how do I navigate those and go further, and then also like classes, like which classes do I take, what's my next step. When I have no one else to turn to because my network is pretty small, she's usually the source that I like utilize to help me out, and it's just helped me in the most difficult times of my life so far, and I'm so grateful.
That's pretty great. And Miss Birdie especially, I work with her quite a bit, and her Miss Willman from an Alphabet, but all of our counseling staff, like such a great resource for our students. And
Definitely.
sometimes they're like kind of underutilized. I mean, they're certainly busy, but underutilized for a lot of those aspects you're talking about. It's not just scheduling for classes, but hey, I need some help. I need some help navigating this, and they're great resources, and they're so much cooler to talk to than me. So I certainly encourage that along the way. So looking, again, kind of if you had to reflect and describe yourself as a Marvel or DC kind of comic book type character, who do you think you would be?
I want to say Spider-Man only because that's my favorite like superhero ever, especially like the Miles Morales Spider-Man. I love the animation and stuff, the art room. I love art in general. So like that kind of part of it, like of animating and like the different kind of designs and styles, because I like dressing up and stuff like that. So that, but then also just kind of like great power, great responsibility.
Sure.
That classic line of just kind of, I have so many things that I can do, but I also have the responsibility to do the right thing,
Yep.
to do the most beneficial thing, to make the biggest difference in the best way. Things like that that kind of propel me in life in general with like that kind of perspective, and that would probably be the superhero.
That's a very profound thing, very mature thing as well. And so you kind of mentioned that. I should have started. Where are we right now, and why are we here?
So we're in the art room, and that's because I have been involved with Creative Minds for 2 years, and I've taken an art class almost every year that I can. Art is a really big part of my life because I love being creative. I mean, the reason I was in theater tech, for example, was that kind of painting and creative aspect, designing aspect of things. I love expressing my feelings and creating things in any way, especially with painting and pottery. That's one of my favorite things. And to record in a place that means a lot to me, it would be the art room.
Sure.
I mean, the connections I made with people and just the different kind of emotions I've had to face with art projects and stuff like that. It's just really meaningful.
Sure.
So.
It's great, and I think so great for kids to find a medium that can do that. Sometimes it's writing, long form writing,
Mm-hmm.
poem, whatever that. It could be music, it could be art, whatever. It could be sport,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like, where they can express themselves. And I think that's so important for people to find that and then go forward. So great, you've been able to do that. I know Mr. Nelson's been great about fostering and Mr. Wee fostering those relationships and getting kids involved, and I think that's a very positive thing.
It's a great environment to discover yourself too.
Absolutely. So is that something you're going to carry with you going forward, kind of your next steps? What are your next steps, and what does that look like?
So although I love art and that side of things, it's something that I will always pursue as like a hobby and
Sure.
something that I do in like extracurriculars and stuff. But I also love the science side of things and making a difference. So I want to pursue chemical engineering at UNL,
Gotcha.
which will be very difficult, but something that I hope will make a big impact, and probably after that, seeing if maybe a PhD is next in line for me,
Sure.
running a research lab, working at a research lab, just doing what I can.
That's so great. A lot of big things, big goals.
Yes.
But you've certainly done some things along the way to set yourself up
Mhm.
for that. You've worked hard, not only just academic, but socially as well. Just again, we can look at that and say like, how wow, that person did it right.
Mhm.
Wasn't always easy, but look at them now, and just now it's like, okay, now go change the world. So really excited to see what you can do next. Whatever that looks like, we know you're going to be a difference maker. So we're very excited, very proud of you. We're going to graduate here in 4 days or whatever it is. It's crazy to think about,
Yeah.
but excited for that next day, that
Mhm.
next thing that you're going to do, because we know you among so many, all of our students, that you're going to do something big, and leaving from this school, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you've done something hard. Now let's go, lead, learn, and serve. And
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do. So proud of you, all that you've accomplished. Excited for Sunday, May 11th. It's going to be a big day, and we'll see where you go from here. So again, congratulations on being Student of the Month, and we'll can't wait to see what that looks like. So with that, we'll sign up for Student of the Month for this year, and then we'll see you back in the fall. Thanks, everybody.